can you please look up this site?
See if we can figure out something.
All right. David Gonzalez. All right, if you come down. All right, what's happening with this case?
This is our first pretrial setting. We had an opportunity to probe the state. It's my understanding we'll reach out to the complainant to see if we can resolve it.
Okay. All right, do you have all of the discovery?
To the best of my knowledge, whatever's available in discovery is usually.
All right, Ms. Ferguson on Gonzalez.
She stepped out.
All right, so I'm going to give you a 1 month reset. If your attorney wants to have you back sooner, then your attorney can request that you be brought over sooner. Whatever agreement y'all are working out, I'm assuming it's including the theft case. I'm assuming it's including the theft case as well. All right. So I'm going to bring you all back on June 24th. Is that enough time for everyone? All right. So we'll recall it on June 24th. And again, Mr. Gonzalez, if your attorney wants you here sooner, he'll ask for you to come back and we can have you back sooner.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Do you have any questions?
That'll be it.
All right. We'll bring you back.
You inform me enough for it.
All right. We'll bring you back on June 24th.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Jonathan Bolden. All right. Are you all ready to proceed?
Yes, sir.
All right. We're going to go on the record. Court is calling 2022 CR 11444, State of Texas versus Jonathan Bolden. Could I have the parties announced for the record for the state?
Marjorie Hilda for the state.
Defense.
Brandon Loftus for Mr. Bolden.
And are you Jonathan Bolden?
Yes.
Did you review the document entitled Motion to Revoke Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
Are you the same Jonathan Bolden who was placed on community supervision in 2022 CR 11444 for the offense of failure to comply with sex offender duty to register life or annual on April 3rd, 2023 for a term of 5 years? Is that you?
Yes.
State?
Your Honor. Violated condition number 4. In Bexar County, Texas, the defendant, Jonathan Bolden, did then and there fail to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of March 2024 in violation of condition number 4.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
Your Honor, the state waives all remaining violations.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 4, the court could find it true, grant the motion, sentence you to 2 years in prison? Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 4?
Yes.
Court will find violation of condition number 4 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
There is, Your Honor. We are asking in court to grant the motion to revoke probation. We're asking for a sentence of 6 months in Bexar County Jail. This is a second MTR. We understand there's some issues with completing the probation, so we're asking for the 6 months.
That is our understanding.
All right.
Okay.
So his minimum is 2 years. All right, let's go off a record for a moment. Oh, you guys are ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So what are we doing?
Your Honor, we were going to maintain our plea of true,
Okay.
and you go open to the court as far as how to proceed forward.
Okay. All right, we're going to go back on the record and 2022 CR 11444, State of Texas versus Jonathan Bolden. Mr. Bolden, it's the court's understanding that you realize that the range of punishment is up to 2 years in the prison. Is that correct? Right. And are you still going to be pleading true to violation of condition number 4?
Well, I'm put it like this. I could honestly say, yeah, but in actuality, no, I didn't, because I tried to.
No, here's the thing. With violations and motions, sometimes people will say, yes, I did not report. Hypothetically, I did not report yesterday. And maybe the reason why they didn't report is because they're in the hospital and they can't report. technically and legally, you did not report. So you would be pleading true. And then you would say, but Judge, I have an explanation as for why I didn't report. So with regards to violation of condition number 4, are you still pleading true to that? All right. Do you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 4, the court could find it true, grant the motion, and sentence you up to 2 years in the prison? Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 4? All right. And state you're still waiving the other allegations?
Yes, Judge.
All right. The court will find violation of condition number 4 true. Is there an agreement?
I don't believe so, Judge. At this time, we're asking to revoke. We don't see that there's much else that can really be done if he were to be continued on probation. I believe defense counsel has asked for continued probation.
All right. So does anyone have any witnesses?
We don't, Your Honor.
All right. So I'll hear argument defense.
Your Honor, my client, as evidenced by his plea, did plead true, did miss reporting in March of 2024. On March 20, through discussions with my client and with probation, he missed his report day of March 26. He called the office on March 28th to try to explain he's homeless. He lives on Ridman Road. Probation knows that he's homeless. He didn't have a bus pass. He made every effort to be there on March 28th. Did not make it by 5 p.m., but he did appear on April 1st, where a warrant had already been issued and he was arrested. He has every intent of complying with probation. Homelessness obviously being a big struggle, as well as many physical disabilities. He reports to me that he's been working to get full insurance to cover issues with his legs and his heart. If the court would recall, I think he was set 2 weeks ago. He was in the hospital for a stroke. So he has many health issues that he's been trying to get organized around. So he does understand that he missed it. He understands that those are his responsibilities solely, but he's asking the court for an opportunity to continue on probation despite this new issue.
So you're saying, let me just one moment. So he missed reporting on March, what date of March?
26th, it's a Tuesday, Your Honor.
Okay, so he missed reporting on March 26th. And then when did he report?
He reported the 1st, but in between that, Your Honor, he spoke with probation officer on March 28th, that Thursday. They informed him that he needed to be there by 5 p.m. He could not make it. He did make it that following Monday. And I believe a warrant had already been issued.
All right, probation.
Yes, Judge.
So did he call them and let them know that he's homeless?
Judge, there was a telephone call that he felt to report on the 26th. So the telephone call on the 28th doesn't say anything about him being homeless or anything like that. The notes indicate that the officer told him to be at the location in person by 5 o'clock. Due to him not reporting the prior, a couple of days prior.
All right, so Mr. Bolden, here's where we are, and maybe you can tell me something or your counsel can tell me something that will make me think differently. You're here on a failure to register. So that means that you are now on notice that you have to report and you have to register, right? You're supposed to report. Everyone here agrees, your attorney agrees, you agree, probation agrees, states agrees, that you're supposed to report on March 26, 2024. Correct? Did you call probation on March 26, 2024? They don't have that.
I called him. I called my probation officer on the 26th. I had to, because let him know that I didn't make it in. He told me to contact, he said, contact, please.
Let me do this. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear and affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes,
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Jonathan Bolton.
All right, and I'm assuming nobody's objecting to hearsay because I'm trying to get to the bottom of this story.
No objections.
Okay.
All right, so what happened?
I called him on the 26th and said, I didn't make it in. I'm trying my best to make it in. I'll make it tomorrow. He said, you need to, because they want you to be there to register. I said, okay. So I called them. They said, you better make it in then. I tried my best to get money to get the bus to get out and make it. I could make it. So I called, but I called him back on Friday because the place was closed on Friday. So I called my probation officer back Friday and told him that he said I better make it. That's all I told him. That's all.
All right, so this is what I'm not understanding. You call them, you're telling me you called them on March 26th?
Yeah.
All right. And you told them you were not gonna make it,
I told him I'm trying to make it.
okay?
And I told my
And you
probation.
didn't make it on the 26th. So then they reschedule you for March 28th to give you a chance to make it, and you still didn't make it.
No, they didn't reschedule me. I told them I called. I called the 27th. I called the 27th because it was closed. I called the 27th and told the sergeant down there that I'm trying to make it. I don't have a way of it. I'm trying to get the money to catch the bus. He said, well, you better make it. That's when I called him back on the 28th and told him what that officer said. And I did all I could do. And then I sat in there early Monday morning to try to look it solve, fix it.
Well, see, here's the thing. And correct me if I'm wrong. I'm fine if you correct me. I don't take it as a sign of disrespect. You knew you were supposed to report on March 26th. You didn't report. You say you don't have bus fare. You can't get there. You didn't report on the 27th. And then they tell you you need to be there on the 28th by 5.
27th. That's when he told me, he said, you better get down here.
All right, so-
I couldn't do it. I didn't wait.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this because he was supposed to report. He didn't report. It's a lifetime registration.
Excuse me, Judge. Out of all the hard times I've had living in that field, moving in and out with medical things, they want me to move my stuff. Even when I'm medical hurt and I'm not able to. I mean, it's a big job. I'm right now coming out of that situation. I can be on, you can put me on no tolerance, period.
See, here's the thing. That's what everybody says when we get to this point for a motion to revoke. I have people who tell me, you can keep me on probation for life. You can do this or that. The problem is you haven't been reporting, and this is not your first motion to revoke.
Because I've been having trouble getting it. Before I was on, when I got put on, I had to show there every week. I had no problems with the first 15 years. I had no problem because I had a job and I had got away. I have not had no source of income whatsoever. And I'm finding myself having problems. It's not that I don't want a problem. Register or go register. It's a problem I can't. I have trouble getting there. I'm not trying to display attitude that I don't want to do this stuff. I do want to be accountability for myself and for the things I do. It's just the money situation keep me from doing it. I'm not trying to blow it off. It's a no.
All right, just have a seat. I'll take this matter up in a moment. I need to think about some things. Pete Garcia, is there an application in this case?
No, Judge, a little bit of background. These cases stand, this court sentenced Mr. Garcia to 8 years back in January.
Okay.
And he was indicted, I guess, he already had an indictment before his sentencing.
Okay.
That was a theft case. I wasn't on that case. Then after he was sentenced, I guess they were under seal. These 2 indictments came out in February.
All right.
And so, court put me on that case also, All
All right. So there's just going to be a plea to one case, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And you're saying that this case was pending when he was sentenced?
Correct. Just was not indicted and The DA's, Jason did not know about it because I guess it was upstairs at the time.
All right, so you all just need to make sure that the clerk has the proper time. Kate, if there's not any overlapping or something.
I believe, well, the court has the case number that was sent this on before her. And then the time gets spent on this case also, so it should all match up.
All right, court is calling 2024 CR 1950, State of Texas versus Pete Garcia. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Garrett, Your Honor.
Defense?
Robert Porter.
Are you Mr. Garcia?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
I have
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Garcia, did you review the document entitled True Bill of Indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it? Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Your Honor, we're waiving count one. Count two with the enhancement.
No objection.
All right, did you review the document entitled Court Admonishments and Defendant's Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places? Did you understand you're charged with felon in possession of a firearm? If the state is able to prove up the the enhancement paragraph, your range of punishment will be anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you and your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea you were giving up those rights? And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes,
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
yes,
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense? Mr. Garcia, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 8 years in the prison. There are no applications. This will run concurrent with 2022 CR 6930. State will take in consideration 2024 CR 1949, 2024 CR 0036. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea?
it is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
It is.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places? Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions? Then to the offense is charged in count 2. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Contest.
And to the enhancement, how do you plead? True or not true?
True.
State any evidence.
Yes, Your Honor. Did exhibit a
No objection.
Right, did you review the document entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Respectfully, Judge, this case kind of, the history of it should have been taken care of. This case should have been taken care of. It works with respect to the court.
All right, as previously stated, the court is finding you guilty. The court is finding the enhancement true based upon your plea of true and also based upon states exhibits 1 and attachments. The court is taking in consideration 2024 CR 1949 and 2024 CR 0036. And there's to be no contact with Jay, Mark, Cheek, CHEEK. Is there anything else from either side with regards to sentencing, state, defense?
Yes, for the state, Your Honor.
All right, did you review the document entitled True Bill of Indictment with your attorney? I'm sorry, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes.
Because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, we can go off the record. I know I've already told you before that you got to get your life together. Otherwise, you're going to end up living at the prison. You're going to be that person in that movie who has the birds at the prison and everybody's going to know you by name and ask you how things are run. So don't be that person, okay? All right, good luck to you. You're welcome. Could I see his other files so I can put this in the file? It's 1949 and 36. All right, Mr. Bolden. So probation. What can we do with this? I mean, if it appears that from what the report I'm receiving for probation, it appears that he called in. It appears that he's homeless.
But I would just help to go to state and council. I mean, just looking over the records from the last couple of months.
Could you mute us for a moment, please? Court is calling 2024 CR 4061, State of Texas versus David Ingram. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkins for the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Abelardo Garza.
And are you David Ingram?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Ingram, did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Your Honor.
Mr. Ingram, did you review what's entitled court admonishments and defendants waivers and affidavit of admonitions with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you're charged with kidnapping? That's a third-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by entering this plea you were giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I believe so.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Ingram, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea?
No, Your Honor.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, Your Honor.
Satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 3 years in the prison and there are no applications. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense is at the plea.
That is, Your Honor.
State is at the plea.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court.
Yes, sir.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
And outside the agreement, the state is requesting there be no contact with Robert Betts, Betts. Did you understand that was a recommendation from the state And the court does not have to follow those recommendations.
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State any evidence.
Your Honor, I offer State's Exhibit 1 in the attachments.
Any objection?
No objections, Your Honor.
And state, have you spoken with the complainant?
Yes, Your Honor, our victim advocate has, Your Honor.
All right.
Judge, we had talked with the client previously.
All right, thank you. Mr. Ingram, did you review the document entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there'll be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, sir.
All right, what's your issue? Why are you doing this? I mean, it says you were in Scrubs. Where are you coming from?
Hospital,
For what?
meth-induced psychosis.
Oh, okay. All right, court will find you guilty, sentence you to 3 years in the prison. Do you have any children?
No, ma'am.
You credit for any time served. There's to be no contact with Robert Betts. And is there any restitution to Mr. Betts?
No, Your Honor.
All right, is there anything else with regards to sentencing?
No, Your Honor.
All right, did you review the document and sign it called Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? And did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing. There's so many things that could have gone wrong with that scenario. Like that person could have been driving the Amazon van and just scraped you off of a side of a wall and gone about his business. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And I understand sometimes the tattoo thing that's happening, that's prison stuff. But if you plan on doing anything with your life of value where people don't judge you by your tattoos, you better change those tattoos and change yourself internally. You understand?
Yes, ma'am. I've given my life to God. I've changed my life. I have testimony that I've given to people in prison. I went from Marine, firefighter, paramedic to prison for 12 years. I mean, I know my life went the wrong way and it's all behind drugs.
All right. And what's on the side of your cheek there?
It's getting removed.
See?
I mean, I'm judged. I know.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck to you. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Your Honor. That'd be excused.
Yes.
Good luck.
All right. Gary. And this is just a plea on one case, correct?
Correct, Judge. We are asking for a PSI date.
All right. Ms. Ferguson, I'm going to need a PSI date on Mr. Gary. And is there going to need to be a tap as well?
Yes, Judge.
All right, July 25th. All right, court is calling 2022 CR 1252, State of Texas versus David Aguirre. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Daniel Escobar for the state of Texas.
Defense?
Luis Martinez on behalf of Mr. Aguirre.
Are you Mr. Aguirre?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, Judge.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Aguirre, did you review the document entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, off the record for a moment. I'm sorry, sir, you're gonna have to sit down for security issues, okay? If you're, are you able to hear?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We're back on the record. Did you review the document entitled True Bill of Indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Your Honor, waive count 1 and proceed on count 2, and we're also waiving the enhancement allegation.
Any objection?
None.
Did you review the document entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. In count 2, you're charged with possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, 4 grams to 200 grams. That's a second-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison. and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that the court would grant your application for deferred adjudication? If for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Geary, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, state is proceeding on account 2. There's a $1,000 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication. They're taking in consideration 2022 CR 1253 and 1254. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense?
Yes.
State?
Yes, Judge.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 8 years. There be a TAP evaluation and 100 hours of community service restitution. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offenses charged in count 2, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence.
You know, state considered one in all attachments.
Any
Without
objection?
objection, Judge.
All right, did you review the document entitled Waiving Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you and your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there will be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. All right, let's go off the record for a moment, please. All right, so I think that's the last case. Is that correct? All right, the only thing I have left then is there's someone who passed the California bar and they want to be sworn in here. Yes, so they're coming in to be sworn in. So I'm like, okay. So they should be here by 4. Then we will be back tomorrow. Okay, and Norma, I discovered that the A&W root beer that I thought was 0 calories, it is 0 calories, but I had the 0 calorie one. You know, it tastes just like regular. Yeah, who knew? But I'm not going to do it because sodium is so high in it. The sodium is 180 grams. So,
Really?
you know, the dream got snatched away.
Judge, you know how you say, you know, you're old man.
Yes.
I got new pots and pans this weekend and I'm so excited. This is my first meal in my new pots and pans.
Oh,
You know, those little things that, you know, those are.
okay. And here's the thing: when you get new pots and pans, don't you treat them just like a baby? You're like, don't be staring with that metal spoon. You're gonna scratch it.
Last night, it's like, hey.
But you know who my mom, of course, got us all pots and pans, right? And one of them was Wolfgang Puck. And you know what she said? No. So didn't go well with Wolf. He needs to work on his pots and pans.
Who wants to kind of skip 20 years? Never wants to. My son to get out and work on his, he does arm drill. They're constantly like refurbishing the rifles. I'll find one thing out of place, like, this is how we lose things.
Yeah, it is.
Every single, bring back, we found it, it's fun to ask.
Yes, that's all you're asking.